Greetings, doctors, nurses, scholars, and all of you. The COVID-19 has been a great disaster, bringing social disorder and economic ruin. But is that really true? According to the teachings of the Buddha, the arising of diseases such as COVID is not random. The so-called pathogen is merely something that seeks to arise. And it arises in humans. Consider this. Why doesn't it arise in dogs, cats, or other animals like cows and buffalo? The answer is this. For pathogens to arise in humans, there must be consciousness, via, that allows it to arise. Only then can disease manifest. All of you, this is similar to the way a fetus is conceived. For conception to occur in a womb, consciousness must be present as a condition. For example, when a mother and father come together and the sperm enters the womb, if the mother has not yet reached menstruation, conception cannot take place. When a woman experiences intense desire, a specific consciousness arises. Once that consciousness is established and growing, and the sperm enters the womb, conception occurs. A being is born in the womb. Likewise, when one's mind becomes deeply fixated on COVID, a specific consciousness related to it arises. When that consciousness is nurtured and strengthened, the incubation of the virus can occur in that person. In summary, whatever one becomes mentally attached to, that very thing arises, and in the end, it leads to suffering. Furthermore, consider fire. The fire element exists, the fire seed, potential, exists, but fire will not appear unless there is a cause. For instance, if you have two pieces of wood, only when they are rubbed together does heat arise, and then the fire appears. Because there are causes and conditions, fire comes into being. The same principle applies here. Now, COVID has largely faded away, not because vaccines played a crucial role. Vaccines have worked in some cases and failed in others. Rather, it is the natural mechanism of living beings that produces immunity on its own. To illustrate, over 80 years ago, there was an outbreak of what was then called cholera. In those days, people died in the village by the hundreds in a single day. There were no medicines then, let alone vaccines. Yet after about 6 months, the cholera epidemic faded away. This is because the nature of living beings includes the capacity to develop immunity naturally. But all of you may not have heard or listened to the teachings of the Buddha. The Buddha, the one who clearly knows the world, has shown the way to prevent various diseases. And that way is, do not create emotional fixation on the pathogen. If the mind does not become emotionally attached to something, at any time, that thing will not give rise to the consciousness that allows it to manifest. Where there is no emotional attachment, there is no arising of specific consciousness. Without that, the incubation of any disease cannot happen. So, to prevent and treat COVID, people have tried quarantine, social distancing, wearing masks, and creating vaccines for control. The results? Some recovered, some did not. The outcome? A disordered society and a devastated economy, as we see today. These issues arise in humans. That is why the Buddha appeared in the world. As the one who clearly knows the world, he uncovered what was hidden, turned over what was upside down, lit the lamp in the darkness, and showed the way to those who had lost their way. In conclusion, all this is to lead beings away from all diseases, all dangers, all harms, all misfortunes, all omens, and all inauspicious conditions. In short, to end suffering. What the Buddha has said is exactly as it is not otherwise. Now, the time is appropriate to end this message. Reference: Pali Tipi.